If you're brand new to MIG welding, this is the video I would want you to watch before you're making your first weld. Not because there's some magic trick hidden in the welding gun, but because most beginner welds go wrong before the arc even starts. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what MIG welding actually does, how to set up your machine safely, how to match wire and gas to the metal, how to dial your machine in on scrap, and how to make your first controlled weld instead of making sparks with confidence. Let's start with the part that nobody tells beginners clearly enough. What has to happen for a weld to actually work? For this video, we're going to talk about gas shielded solid wire MIG welding on clean mild steel. When you pull the trigger, the machine feeds the wire. Electricity creates the arc. The arc melts the wire and the base metals together, and the shielding gas protects the hot puddle from the atmosphere while it cools. That's it. No mystery. Just a few things working together at the same time. Remember these 5 things, because every bad weld that you see in this video will lead back to one of them. Now that you understand what the weld needs, you can set up the whole thing. But first, let's talk about some safety equipment. You're going to need a welding hood, gloves, safety glasses or a face shield for grinding. No, squints don't work. And non-flammable clothing so you don't go up in flames.
You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby. I'm on fire.
As for getting the metal ready, you'll need something to get it clean so there's no paint, rust, mill scale, or any oil on it because you won't get a clean weld. My go-to is a grinder with the flap disc on it. You can call them other things, tiger paws or whatever. I call them flap discs. This one's a 60 grit. I find it works great on everything. You want to get all the mill scale and or rust off your metal. Good, clean metal. I always put a bevel on my metal that I'm welding. It just helps the weld penetrate. Around the shop here, my go-to is this Millermatic 211. We're going to be putting in this 1-pound roll. For demonstration, I normally run a 12-pound roll because I do it a lot. But this is ER70S6 and 030 wire. So once you know what wire size you're going to use, you got to make sure that there's 2 components. This little roller right here and the tip of this MIG gun has to be the same. Now that you got your wire ready to go in the machine, direction is important. You want to make sure that the wire is going off and going into here. Put that on there. Next, you'll put your washer, and it's important to put this spring back on because that's what tensions it. Put it on there, and you want to just make sure that it has a little tension on it. See these numbers on here? There's little grooves in here, and the wire and this correspond with each other. So you got to just put it in the right one. Now that we got this tension on here, there's a little bit of tension. You'll feel it. Take this and stick it through here. Do not let this go. Try to hold that wire. It'll bird's nest on you. And once this just brrr, makes a bird's nest, it's junk. I cut a new piece off. And then we're going to feed it through this guide hole over here. Sometimes it doesn't want to go in there, so I have to lift it up a little bit. There. Now it's in there. Push a little bit in there, and what I do, flip that back down, put your tensioner back on. On this particular machine, if you just hold the trigger, and then it goes faster. Some people push the wire through it. I don't particularly do that. I just pull the trigger and let it rip. Once it comes out, then you just let the trigger loose. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it says 030 on it. Now I put the tip on, because if you do it the other way and just try to run the wire through it, it'll get caught up. But you ask, how much gas do I use? Let's set that. You're going to have 2 different styles of how to get the gas to the end of the gun. This is a flow meter and this is a regulator. It doesn't matter which one you use. All you want is 25 to 30 CFHs. On both of them, to see how much gas you're going to be running, you're going to hold the trigger and adjust it while it's running. Same with this one. This one is just a little over here and there's a ball that goes up and down. So let's make sure this one's correct. 25 CFH. Perfect. Now we're getting to the good parts, the fun parts, but one more step. Clean your metal. Now I particularly use acetone. Okay, this is pretty important. Don't use a cleaning solvent that's chlorinated. It will make you sick and you will end up in the hospital. Speaking from experience. So, don't do it. I use acetone, like I just said. And I use this little thing right here, and you just whop, whop, and it spits out the stuff on the rag. Now you can just get to cleaning. Oh, also, rubber gloves. You don't want to use your welding gloves while you're cleaning because you don't want to catch on fire. So clean it. Good thing about the rubber gloves, your lady friend's going to appreciate it so you don't have dry lizard fingers either. Ooh. Now to the part that everybody asks about. What are your settings? So they have this little simple chart in here. It goes off of the thickness of the wire and the thickness of the metal that you're using. You just line up the two corresponding parts and that gives you a rough estimate of where you need to start. So let's set this up for the metal that we have. On this machine we're going to be running 240 volts, 1/8 inch material, 030 wire. Our starting point should be number 6 and 70. So let's put it at 6 and 70. Before we can put these little coupons together, you have to hook up the ground. But then you ask, how far do I let the wire stick out? Well, welding pliers, it's 1/4 inch. You just throw them up here, run it flush. That's a 1/4 inch. Now that we got our metal clean, welder ready, let's glue these coupons together so we can start practicing. For this weld, I'm going to be doing a push motion and a lowercase e. Kind of up and down, kind of like this. As for torch angle, you want to keep the torch about this far away and tilt it back just about 15 degrees. Then make your backwards E's. So that doesn't look too bad, but in my opinion, the wire speed is too fast or it's not hot enough. So let's try something different. Coming in hot. That is much better. Now that you know what a good weld is supposed to look like, pay attention to the noise that it is making. If you have to, rewind it and listen. Listen to what it sounds like. It's supposed to sound like sizzling bacon. Now I'm going to show you some bad welds and what to do about that. Wire speed and heat, those are the only two variables in this. For this weld, the wire speed is way too fast or there's not enough heat in it. For this weld, the heat is way too hot or the wire speed is not fast enough. Sometimes this will happen. It gets so hot it'll melt back into the tip. So the best thing is start with the settings that are in the welder because they get you close. And pay attention to the sound that the welder's making. It'll tell you everything. Now that you got the basics down, you're always going to need to play with the settings in the beginning. Once you get good at it, just repeat. The biggest thing is practice, practice, practice. If you notice that it doesn't sound correct, do little tweaks. Little tweaks equal giant peaks. As for this right here, this is a go-kart that me and my son are building. He's 12 and he's welding majority of it. So go check out that video. Hey, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. I'll get back to you. Until next time, go throw some sparks and stay classy, folks.